Hello everyone, my name's Yana and I'm a real beauty. I hope you've had a great time over the Christmas and New Year's period, but I don't know about you, but during that time, one of my biggest issues was right here. Bags under the eyes. I already have like grey patches under my eyes naturally, and they just got worse. Because like you're just doing so many things. I didn't have enough time to really take care of my skin, and so my eyes would be puffy someday and my wrinkles would be a bit up and stuff like that. And it was something that I had to focus on. I thought, well, that's a really good topic for a YouTube conversation because I'm betting that I'm not the only person out there. Now, I have 4 different concealers here. Now, I went through a phase last year where I was trying to go from more higher end products to save some money, go to some lower end products and budget products. And so yeah, these don't work. There is no such thing as instant age rewind. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. But it doesn't stop the fact that they do have some uses. Like this one is really good at covering and it really does sit in nicely, but it doesn't stay on my face. As the day goes on, no matter what primer I use, no matter what I do, no matter if I set it with powder immediately and set it with setting spray immediately, throughout the day, it just kind of falls off my face. It's just probably something to do with my slightly oily skin. There are other people that it'll be perfect for because if you get the right color, it's perfect. I did, however, buy 2 wrong shades of this color because I was using, you know, that stupid, those internet tools where it's take a photo of yourself and upload it to our site and you'll be able to compare your skin tone with the skin tone. You know, yeah. First one I bought, wrong color. Second one I bought, wrong color. Third one I bought, wrong. Right, finally. So now I've got 2 wrong color ones, which I just use for when I'm doing costume stuff. And yeah. Same as this one, Skin Awaken. Nothing is awakening me, so it's not awakening my skin. I did always love my Clinique one, but this year I have gone to Bare Minerals and I really like this one. Anyway, I've also changed the way I apply my under eye concealer over the last 2 years because you do get a different effect for different things. Now, let's start with, I'll show you a few different things you can do and we'll see some stuff that works and some stuff that clearly does not work. Now this one, it has the little brush on it. You are designed to paint this onto your face yourself and put it where you need it, right? Which then means you end up with a pretty large amount of product to blend into your face. And one of the things about when you put product directly onto your face like that, if you do not do enough blending, you get very clear marks as to where it was originally placed. The other problem is, can you see that already? It is settling straight into the creases of my inner eye because that's where I put that first swipe and it's going to stay there. Now, you can keep blending, you can do a pretty good job, and you can get it fairly okay, set it with powder. That's kind of a right way, and you can get it okay, it's passable. Wrong way, don't do this. Don't stretch your face out, whether it be that way or this way or this way. If you stretch your face and try and put it into, like, in theory, you're like, oh, I'm just flattening it out on the surface, and because there's a wrinkle, I got to stretch away the wrinkle. Yes, momentarily, you stretch away the wrinkle and you blend it away. But throughout the day, once your skin closes back up to its normal wrinkly state, that product is going to stay in between the crease. You've actually now got 3 times the amount of product because it's like it's on the bottom of the crease, on the left side and the right side. So your wrinkle has now got a nice little deposit of product. And throughout the day, those little lines actually get more obvious. The other thing you'll notice as well, if you've deposited it straight on your screen, I probably should have not used an old beauty blender for this because you end up with a huge amount of the product in your beauty blender, and I've taken most of it off my skin and put it into the beauty blender, but it's already stained, so you can't actually tell the difference. think I need to throw this one away. Can you see, like, it's got little cuts in it? That's how old it is. It's just staying there. I don't know why I have eyeliner on it, but still never been able to get that spot of eyeliner out. That's been there a long time. Good 3 months. Anyway, and it's been cleaned a lot of times in there. So what I'm saying is you can get it passable, but don't stretch it out, because throughout the day it's going to snap back and your wrinkles have now got three times the amount of product in it, and it will be gone. You also waste a lot on your beauty blender. And I don't know if you noticed, I have this nice little vein here. It actually sticks out more depending on what concealer I use, which I found out the hard way. And also, the more I play with it and try and disguise it, the worse it usually looks. So I actually have to have the right products, do it once, don't put multiple layers on, because if I layer that up, it gets more obvious. Another way, let's use our trusty Age Rewind, which it does match my skin, but you know the whole, how do you get rid of your black rings? The old use red lipstick. Okay, Mum. Let's see, Mum. She always insisted this would work. This is like a genetic thing. We all have it. It's even got like little bits of grey up there. Now, this does kind of work, but there are some definite things you need to know. You do not want any kind of thick lipstick. You need a very thin one. Definitely nothing that's like a long wear. Long wear would be bad. You do have to experiment a bit, because if it's a orangey undertoned red, it really doesn't work. If it's a pinky one, a pinky red, that also doesn't work very well. But a little bit of red, the problem is I find I end up putting it somewhere else that it's not supposed to be, and then I have to rub it off. Where's my micellar water? Okay, so I've got it there, but the other place I need it is in here, in that little hollowy bit. So I have to put it on and kind of smush it into place. And so then you got to put a bit on, and you got to go, okay, it's close. Let's just put a little bit more in there. Let it sit and dry and get it in the right place. And sound like Swedish Chef. Apparently in Switzerland it's not known as the Swedish Chef. So every person who's ever gone on holiday to Switzerland and gone, Swedish Chef, they're looking at you going, I can't remember where it is. It's somewhere nearby to Switzerland, but it's not Switzerland. It's not the Swedish Chef. Oh my God. They must think everyone is insane. Because I know I would be there going, every single time I walked into a restaurant or got some food. See, that bit there now is actually just making the spot where my glasses sit highlight even more. And this micellar water is not going to make the change a difference of that. Same as I've got to get rid of that bit up there, and there's probably a little bit too much red there. Also, really bad idea if you're doing this. Number one, you need to make sure you wash your finger before you put, if you're in a rush and you're trying to blend anything else in. Number two, don't wear red eye makeup the same day, because you'll just look like you're crying. Okay, dry, dry, dry. Okay. Apparently you can take these things off and just squish it out and use it yourself. I think about how much junk is in that. Like if I was using a beauty blender, it'd get washed straight after the use, but that has definitely been there and should have been washed a lot of times. Yeah, that's disgusting. Never really thought about it. Okay, let's put a bit on that red spot too. Okay. Now it takes a bit of Problem with this stuff is you kind of have to layer it up a bit. Now this is the other way to get concealer on, of course, is you pat it into place. I don't have any foundation on right now because I'm going to go wash my face and then do it 2 other ways, one on each side again. So it's like, there's no point to putting on foundation and everything as I'm about to go wash my face. And I've tried in the past doing the whole, like, have everything else done, have your eye makeup, your foundation, everything done, and just taking off one thing. So if you're going to redo the eye makeup using micellar water or whatever and taking off just the eye and then redoing it, and you always end up looking bizarre because no matter how much you try to blend the, oh, this is where I wiped off foundation, now I have to put another spot of foundation there or whatever. Goes to hell. Well, there you go. In the few seconds I've been talking as well, that's kind of set into place. That all that red that was there is gone. But the question is, has it actually gotten rid of the grey? And I'm not so sure that it has. Whoops, probably shouldn't use the finger with red on it. I suppose it's taken some of the grey tone out. But it does look quite thick, particularly there. I don't know why it's decided to be thick there, given that this is where there's extra product. Maybe it's like not setting as properly on top of that lipstick as it is just on my skin with moisturizer and primer on, which is quite bizarre. Never really stopped to think about it because, quite frankly, this is the first time I've actually got the red lipstick trick to work. I tried it with a different brand of lipstick. I've definitely tried it with the all day, oh my god, long wear lipstick. Yeah, that was a disaster. I once tried putting red eyeshadow down first and then putting concealer on. Oh my god, I looked like I wasn't just a crazy person who had been like in hysterics and but also anger, but also a sick, crazy person who was both just finished crying and just finished raging because I just had this red shadow along my eye line. It was terrifying. One day I left the house with it and I regretted it. Okay, well that red lipstick hasn't done a bad job. Has it covered the greys? I don't think so. I think it actually looks close to this one, and this concealer definitely did not cover the grey, particularly when I turn my head side on. You can really see that bag. I suppose it has worked somewhat. Okay. I expected it not to work because it's never worked for me before. Oh well, that's cool. That's cool. What is that lipstick? That is Bare Minerals Bare Pro. I need my glasses. No, yep, color name I need my glasses. No idea. But it's a Bare Minerals one. I'm going to go wash this shite off and then come back and do it two different other ways. So far, this is a loser. Sorry, Clinique. This is not too bad. The Age Rewind under some red lippy. I'm going to go wash my face. See you a sec. And we're back after the... Anyway, right. Next two different ways. So you've seen Beauty Blender, you've seen fingers. And out of the two of those, the finger method with the red lipstick underneath worked far better as far as the products went as well. The pro of the Instant Age Rewind one was that it was perfect skin color match, but the con is that it slips off my face throughout the day. The pro of the Clinique one is it would stay on my face all day long, but it really didn't cover my bags? What the? Didn't cover the bags under my eyes. If I try the red lipstick under that, I wonder if that'd work. Might have to experiment later on this week. Anyway, let's go to a different method of putting on concealer under the eyes, and a different one as well, just for the fun. This was how I started doing under eye concealer, with a nice flat brush, like a little mini paintbrush, and I'd use a big one to paint on my foundation, and I'd use a little one to paint on my concealer. Is that sudden? Sorry, just waiting for the moisturizer and everything I've put on my face to dry. So let's try the Skin Awaken. Yeah, right. Maybe if you're 22. Again, how many times has this thing been put on my face and ever been washed? Because you can't wash it. That goes on my face. Now I understand why they say you should throw out these kind of things every 3 to 6 months. What do you think about it? Okay, so when we use the paintbrush to do this, you can see that instantly we make a really big mess, I think. And it's really hard to tell when you're putting the product on your skin how much you need to apply. Sometimes like I'll do things like I'll squeeze a pile of it onto my hand and then I'll paint it from my hand onto my face. Other days I would put it onto my face and paint it like this. It usually depended on how much time I had. Sorry, that was just easier to just kind of wipe it away because I'm like, I'm going to be here all day if I am trying to paint this on. Okay, finally, we're getting somewhere. Now, does this look like it's awakening my skin at all? Seriously, do I look more awake right now? I feel like, and this is the right color because I've tried a couple of others. This is apparently the right color for my skin tone. It is definitely paler than my skin tone, but you know, that's the whole thing they're saying. It's going to be skin awakening because it's brightening. Well, again, brightening is a good thing for a 22-year-old who's had a party and an all-nighter. For a 39-year-old, almost 40-year-old who has permanent grey bags under your eyes, this actually doesn't make you look more awake. It makes you look like you're trying to look more awake and therefore you look more tired. Does that make sense? That's kind of that weird reverse logic of, oh look, you're done that big bright thing under your eye because you're trying to look more awake. You must be really tired. And the answer is yes. Yes, I am. The paintbrush method does work, but you do have to do a lot of painting, and it will come out much thicker. It's like when I did the, you know, what method should you use for putting on foundation, what's going to get the best result, and I believe now that it's the stippling brush. For a while I used, like, where is that one? It fell on the floor. This one was like legit my go-to foundation brush for so long, and I loved it. And I would paint it on, it'd be nice and thick, and I could cover the, you know, brown patches and the little blue veiny things because I could do equally as thick concealer, and it did like mask all these kind of skin imperfections, but I really looked like I was wearing makeup. I mean, there's a lot of makeup and then there's a lot of makeup. I always looked like I was wearing a lot of makeup. Works if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that and you want to let your skin breathe just a tad, you need to go to a stippling brush. Beauty blenders work, but you are legit putting 3 times the amount of product because 1/3 goes on your face, 2/3 go into your beauty blender, which you then have to attempt to wash out. They invariably don't wash out. They get stained permanently, like that one. That one. There's the one I had before. Oh, I put it in the bathroom. But like they're legit stained because of the fact that they've got 2/3 of the product sitting in them, and no matter how much you try and clean them, that's always, you're going to get residue there. They get stained. So for purely just cost effectiveness, beauty blenders are actually become a waste of money of your products, and you're better off putting more money in investing in good quality products that you only need a small amount of and will last you all year than buying 153 beauty blenders and 12 different foundations, because in a year that's how many you go through because of how much you're wasting. There is my rant for the afternoon, I swear. Okay, let's try one other way to put our under eye foundation on, and one other thing to try and cover the grey, because once again, skin awaken my ass, that has not covered the grey at all. If I put more layers on, I might get a tiny bit more coverage, but it is going to just look like I have I'm trying to cover how tired I am. Legit. But the other way, the new way I've started putting concealer on under my eyes is with a little fluffy brush. I got this, what is her name? I saw it on Instagram. I think it was Katie Jane Hughes did it, and I was like, oh my god, that is genius. And I tried it and I loved it. So I'm going to show you that in a second. The other thing that I've started using, because it was recommended to me by one of the staff members at Mecca, and she showed me how to use it. I was like, I don't believe it. It's amazing. Color corrector, Bobbi Brown. It's called Corrector Peach. And she was like, you literally put your finger in it. You get like your fingerprints worth of product. And you put it on the grey spots and pat it in. Give it 10 seconds to dry before you add your concealer. But it will make a much bigger difference than using red lipstick. I should have done the red lipstick and the colour corrector at the same time on the same... Ugh, I'm such an idiot. Anyway, where did I put my other concealer? I've got like a pile of crap on the bench beside me. Oh, and I put it on the other side because I was like, it's getting difficult to find anything on that bench right now. Anyway, this is my floofy brush. See the color corrector's just gone on and it's like, it's set already. You saw it was on my fingerprint, it's all off my fingerprint on my face. Now, this time, we are going to use even less product. We're probably going to use the least amount of product at all. I'm going to put it on my finger. And what I'm going to do, how do I do this so you can see? I'm going to dip the end of my bristles in, so there's just a tiny bit of product. I'm then going to tap that product on another spot on my finger, just to kind of disperse it in the bristles a tiny bit more. And I'm going to, oh, see, I needed it to disperse it a little bit more, I think. I'm just going to very gently swipe it across. Now I'm going back in. I'm going to start with that spot that I've already kind of evened out the product into. I'm going to get a tiny bit more, tap it around, and just brush it along. And this brush method I have used like probably 1/10 of the amount of concealer that I did on this eye. That tiny bit of color corrector, I probably need a tiny bit more, so we go back to that spot, not the bit with the heaps on it, just the bit with a tiny bit. And we'll go in here. Now this would look a lot better when I've got foundation on, of course. When I don't have foundation on, it doesn't. Strangely, this concealer blends in with my foundation really well side by side, but not so much onto my miasma-y cheek, which is bizarre. Can you see the difference, that grey and this side with the color corrector? You can definitely see it in person. It's probably better, easier to see the difference when I look straight on like that. How stark is the difference? And how much product did I use? I still have more than 50% of it on my hand. And in actual fact, I've started not even putting it on my hand. I will use that tiny little bit that's on the edge of the wand and tap it on my hand to disperse it, and I will just use whatever little tiny bit of deposit is on the wand, and that is it. So, floofy brush with a tiny bit of a flick, and you use hardly any product. I reckon I could probably cover half of my face with the amount of product that is still left on my hand. Like, I could just sit here and do my entire cheek if I wanted to, with this tiniest amount of concealer. You can go, and I was like, hang on, what? It's a floofy brush. Oh, it's starting to dry now, so I'm not going to get much more out because it's drying on my hand. But you can cover a huge amount of real estate on your face, basically, with the tiniest amount of product. It's insane. Now, it is very light coverage as far as concealer goes. Of course, you can still see my big brown splodge and my little bits of miasma on my skin, because that, yeah, unless I go 2 layers cake face, I can't get rid of that anymore. One of the perks of getting older, I suppose. But just using a fluffy brush and the tiniest amount of product, you can actually get away with so much more. And it's a similar kind of concept, I suppose, to, should have grabbed the stippling brush out of the bathroom. But the stippling brush you use to put your foundation in, it's the same kind of logic. You're pressing it into your skin and you're kind of sweeping it around to blend it in. Pressing it into the pores and into your actual skin cells, essentially, and you're blending as you go. It is the exact same concept put into concealer. And so you actually use so much less product, you get a really nice result, and it's going to be saving you money in the long run. But look at that. And again, that color corrector has done wonders for my grey under eye. Let's see what happens. I love this. That Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer is the best foundation primer I have ever used, and I've used dozens. It is the best. It goes on really quickly and glides on, and it is so soft on your hands and your skin, and it's there. You don't have to wait for it to dry or anything. I absolutely love it. Well worth the price, because that one tube lasts forever. And I'm wearing makeup all the time and it lasts forever. I do not even remember how long ago I bought that. It would have to be at least a year old, I'd say. It's like, it's to the point where you start contemplating whether it's like gonna need to be thrown out because of its age. But it's perfect still. Okay, so let's see what happens if we do the red under here instead. And we'll use the same floofy brush and the same tiny bit of concealer. I'm not even going to bother getting that bit off. This time I'm just going to do the little bit of brush off there. Oh, I didn't put it in my hand well enough. And I'm going to try and dust it in to my face and see what happens. My husband just got home from work. Hello! See what happens to that red lipstick with this concealer over the top instead of the color corrector. Oh, I didn't do that very well, but it goes nicely into my skin. Now, which has come off better? Red lipstick underneath, color corrector underneath. I don't know about you, but I think that one's the winner. I can still see that grey. I can also see like a red tinge under my eyelashes, which drives... bleh. I feel like that red tinge there is the one that makes you look like you're crying all the time. Just me? No. But I can see that red shadow under my eye, which is not going away. That concealer definitely is not concealing that grey with the red lipstick underneath. The colour corrector is the winner. The reason why it's the winner is because like sciencey people have actually put in effort to seeing which kinds of colour tones you need to actually colour correct. So yeah, the red lipstick kind of works, but you're better off investing in a decent colour corrector. And I highly recommend grabbing one of your floofy eyeshadow brushes, make sure it's clean, and trying using the tiniest little bit of concealer to conceal under your eyes and see how much better it looks, how little product you use. That is the thing that gets me so good. And how you can make yourself look bright and awake. The only thing you've got to do is you need to make sure you wash this brush sooner rather than later. There is no way you can use this brush 2 days in a row. It must be washed and dried in between. So have a couple of brushes, or get really good in the habit of getting out a little bit of your brush shampoo, washing it as soon as you've used it, putting it to dry on the windowsill, and it should be perfectly fine for you to use again the next day. Hope you've had a bit of fun. Hope you've learned something. Under eye concealer, corrector is the way to go. Floofy brush, so good. So good. Have fun. I'll see you all next time. Bye.